Take care of your space and your life. Brush your teeth, make your bed, bathe, cut your fingernails, comb your hair, and many others. Make cleanliness a habit. Personal hygiene should be a priority. Cleanliness is next to godliness. Stay blessed. Much love. Thanks for watching.
Hi, my name is Doreen Tuhirire, coming to you from Be Money Wiser, and we're going to be bringing to you the hashtag 100 Ways to Be Money Wiser by Mrs. T. Tilda Nabandra. We're going to be running this hashtag 100 Ways to Be Money Wiser on U24 television. Don't miss out.
U24. Don't miss on U24.
Entrepreneurs Hub, giving you a deep and unique insight into agribusiness, services, ICT and innovation, industrialization, and so much more. Entrepreneurs Hub, growing your small, medium, and large business entity. With yours truly, Sandra Kahunde.
Get your favorite health tips right here on U24.
Maintain your kidney by drinking 8 to 10 glasses of water each day. This can be in form of soup, tea, water, cooked grains, and boiled vegetables.
Hello, my name is Erica Murunji and welcome to Be Inspired by Erica. So today I want to talk about personal branding. The way you appear in public, your dress code, your personal hygiene, the words that come out of your mouth, your language, is the way people will address you. Be mindful of the things like your behavior, your actions, your language, the way you talk, the way you dress. Because the people you surround yourself with, your dress code, the words that come out of your mouth, and the way you address others is what defines who you are. Therefore, remind yourself every day, every night, that your personal branding is a priority. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed. Much love.
Youth of Purpose.
A very good evening, and of course you are welcome to Youth of Purpose right here on U24 television. My name is Cheslin Ankunda, that does host this conversation every Wednesday from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. And what are we talking about today? We've been having graduation week for Makerere University, but also other graduations that have been happening across other institutions and higher learning spaces. Today we ask, does Uganda's education system support the realities of young people, especially where we know that It is always amazing when we are graduating, it is always hopeful, but the reality is outside. And today we do have an interesting discussion with some of those people that have perhaps been able to graduate and what life feels like, especially after the education system. And basically also, if you started maybe to be a teacher, are you teaching? If you did study to be a veterinary doctor, are you actually doing what you studied, or does it now look different when it comes to the realities? My name is Cheslin Ankunda, and I do have a panel of one lady and two gentlemen. I do have with me Afashimana Asimwe, who is the district youth chairperson of Kisoro District and the National Youth Council. I do have with me Nancha Esther, who is a youth leader but also a veterinary doctor. I do have Nimrod Kakai, who is the chairperson in RM Youth League for Namisindwa District. Let me allow them just in less than a minute to say hello to our listeners, and then we'll get it started. And I'll start with you, Afashimana.
Thank you. My long time friend, but also a younger lawyer who I really am proud of. But to cut a long story short, I am Afashimana Asimwe, and I'm the youth chairperson Kisoro District Youth Council. But also proudly, I would want to say on the same show that I'm a teacher by training. Thank you so much. Looking forward to share out of experience, but also really what we do on a daily day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Teacher Afashimana. Let me get to you, Nancha.
Thank you, Tresilyn. I am Esther Nancha. I am a vet doctor by profession. I'm also a master's degree scholar, really, so very soon we shall be eating food. I'm also a youth leader, I should say, but I'm so passionate about women empowerment, supporting the girl child in the different fields to do better. So really that is who I am, and I'm glad to be part of this conversation as a graduate and someone who has enjoyed that, who has been part of the people that celebrated before, after winning, like after graduating, you know. So I'm really humbled to be part of this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancha. Next to Nancha is Nimrod. Nimrod, say hello to our listeners.
Hello, our listeners. My name is Nimrod Kakai. By the grace of God, I'm the District Youth League chairperson of the great Namisindwa District. But also, I'm happy to be back on this panel. It was our regular conversations here. I'm happy. Thank you, Treslin, for bringing us together. But for the purpose of the topic today, I'm a graduate of business. I did a bachelor's in business administration from Makerere University Business School. So I'm happy to make a few comments on the relevance of what I studied and what I'm doing now. Great. Thank you. Great to be here.
Thank you so much, Nimrod. Let me start it with you, Afashimana. First of all, as someone who has graduated from the university, as a teacher, someone whom your parents paid school fees were from nursery to primary to secondary, does the Uganda education system address the realities? Are you in school teaching, or are you doing something else?
Well, I will begin by putting it on record that whereas I graduated with a bachelor's degree in arts with education, I studied economics and history at Chambu University. And as we talk, I realized that a degree itself wasn't enough, especially in a VUCA world that we are in, apparently. VUCA world means that the world we are in, especially in the academia, that simply means that the world is volatile, the world is uncertain, the world, of course, has competence. There is a lot of competition, especially when you extend but also expound in the working environment. So long story short, we are into a world whereby we cannot define, or those that are coming after us will not be entertaining what we went through. For example, you will not convince a P1 pupil today that by then we used to move to schools without shoes. They will not accept that. But today, everybody feels like, you know, this is what we're supposed to go through. So whereas I chose to upgrade by doing masters I'm now doing a master's in business. I mean in public administration at the same institution. Why? Because I believe that a bachelor's itself wasn't going to be enough. I had a chance to teach in school. I think I taught at Cororeses for a single year. That was after my school practice. But I later moved on and I chose to go and involve myself into agriculture. So when you go to Kisoro, I have a Kasimoro farm. In my language, we call it Oruvimbi. So that's why I feel like I could keep myself busy out of other personal. But also you recall that when you are a student, especially those that have done agriculture or that have done geography, there were issues to do with involving yourself into more than one businesses. For example, that if one doesn't work, then definitely have to earn from another. And I think that is literally diversification. For example, if you are a teacher, also take part, but also actively involve yourself into agriculture, involve yourself into other businesses. You can be an animal keeper. You can also engage yourself into other economic activities that will definitely bring you money. So what I'm saying is that even when you are at university, even when you are a student at whatever level you are in, and you have a business you can do it because the practicals, I mean the theoretical education that we have gone through does not equip us with necessary skills that we must use to fit within the vocal world that I'm talking about. But also, I want to believe in the same spirit that today's, you are that around 2021, there was education review.
Yes.
For example, to shift from the real and renowned theoretical education to a little bit something that was more practical. And I think that's why some of the part of the curriculum was abrogated. I mean, it was pushed aside to include a few of practical lessons, but still it doesn't address the necessary questions that we see as gaps today in education. However, there are drastic, measures that are still being put by the ministry to ensure that it fits within the current society. I recall that Uganda's population, more than 75%, are below the age of 30. And these are university outgoing students. These are people that are going to come on board. Now, the question is, if there was education review and the National Curriculum Development Center involved or ensure that designing that the current students at high school, at senior 4, go through this new curriculum, or who will cater for the many millions of young people, including yourself, that have been through the former curriculum. So if you are addressing unemployment, for example, how about those of us that already graduated who will cater for us? At the end of the day, we are the majority who are unemployed.
Yes.
I mean, that's why I began by saying that even when you have education, it is good for us to involve ourselves into other economic activities. For example, if you're a teacher, go do other things out there. So I think I want to think, because I also want to think that my colleague panelists who are able to share on the same topic, I definitely believe that they will definitely expound more about what I feel like. Whereas the education system has been reviewed for the last 5 years, it hasn't addressed the missing gaps or the missing pieces that we have been able to, meet in the last many years ago. So I want to believe that whereas we are addressing, if the education system addresses the current and today's predicaments, it is incumbent upon each one of us to inculcate ourselves with new skills that could help us in the vocal world.
Interesting, interesting. Let me get to you, Nancha. Talking about the education system here in Uganda vis-a-vis the gig economy or the gig world, I know for a number of times that you have a lawyer who is now a content creator, you have a doctor who is making gist, you have a mechanic who is a content creator, and these people are actually earning more from these side hustles rather than the real profession of what education system has out there. Do you think that the gig economy does play a bigger role more than the education system, or do they play a complementary role?
Thank you, Tracy-Lynn. I would applaud the gig economy. Truth is, the numbers of young people graduating are more than the jobs that the country can provide, both the government and private. Young people reach to an extent of trying to find out what they can do, because we have found out that the formal education that our grandparents or our forefathers told us about, that will be the future of our country, has actually disappointed in some way or the other. This kind of formal education that we are really having does not make one that creative to the extent that at the end of that day, you need a white-collar job, yet there are really few compared to the number of young people that are out there or that are graduating. So the gig economy has actually come in as a substitute, you know. Yes, I am a vet doctor, have graduated luckily enough in the science sector. At least there can be some jobs for someone to do. But then you have our sisters who have done SWASWA, who have done, you know, all those courses that, like my brother here, knows better. What next after university? After the celebrations, after throwing multi-billion parties, there is now a point where we have to sit and now find out what can we do as young people, you know. And that is why the gig economy is coming in as a substitute to show that whoever is open-minded and can, you know, can come out of the comfort zones and take up whatever is available for them to do at a point, then they can make it in life, you know. So that kind of depression that people were having, young people were having after graduating, you expect to have a job, you know, you expect to start working and start earning, and then a few months after graduation, you find out that that was now, it was simply you dreaming. It cannot be a reality. This gig economy is telling you now, you can get your phone, sell whatever you're selling online, get clients, and live a better life, you know. I have seen very many young people on social media who have started very many different things, and they are currently doing a lot of things to parallel to each other, you know, and they're earning and living out of it. So I find it a substitute to maybe trying to handle us as young people, to try to make us innovative, to try to make us open-minded, you know, to try to make us kind of hardworking, to ensure that, yes, we know that we cannot have the jobs for all of us to earn a living as people who have graduated, but we can do something else in any other field such that we earn a living at the end of the day. Yeah, that is why I am too against this kind of formal education that we are having as Uganda today. Our forefathers had informal education, and there young people would be talked to. It was not all about reading, it was not all about getting 4 in 4 at primary 7, getting 8 in 8 at senior 4, getting 25 or 20 points at A level, you know. It wasn't all about having a first class degree and yet you don't have what next after that degree, you know. It was more of training someone, morals in society, how do you behave, these other kind of activities that you can do to earn a living, like tailoring, like crafting, making mats, making baskets. At the end of the day, someone grows right from childhood knowing that, yes, I am reading hard to pass, but I can also do something else. So probably we can try to explore in that area and find out what went wrong. Why is the informal education that our grandparents used to give to our parents, why is it right now? What can we do about it to ensure that the young people of this generation also benefit from that kind of education? Because at the end of the day, we need to survive. And we have found out that the white-collar jobs we have been studying for in the last 20 to 23 years are nowhere to be seen. Yet we need to survive, yet we need to earn a living, yet we need to sustain our lives, support our families, among other things. So that is why I am glad to say that the gig economy is really something that I can really say thumbs up for. And yes, to the young people who have graduated, congratulations. We have seen you really excited, jumping in the clouds, throwing multi-million parties, but please be open-minded. Feel free to put your graduation gown somewhere. You're happy about it. If it's giving it to your parents, please do. Then you be open-minded, ready to do whatever it takes or whatever job is there for you to earn something. Ready to innovate, to think out of the box. I am a vet doctor. I am an advocate for agriculture. Agriculture is the backbone of our economy. Please come out, let us go to the gardens, let us do a lot of crop production, let us do a lot of livestock production, because there are very many other services and other people that are willing to support you in that area. So don't feel bad about it. Don't feel bad about you maybe taking care of your cattle. Don't feel bad about you going to the garden to plant some maize. after all, at the end of the day, all we need is money in our pockets and nothing much but money. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. Getting to you, Nimrod, the government close to 3 years ago that did introduce the competence-based curriculum. That means that we have had 2 cohorts, for example, graduate under that system. The system does have a comprehension in terms of more than what the content-based curriculum did offer to us those days, where you have to know who was Vasco da Gama, where you have to know what is a molecule, where you have to know all that. And it was more of a theory or content-based that I feel has become a challenge. Do you think that with the address of the competence-based system that the government has introduced right at the O level could be one of the attributes that does produce a shift from the kind of education system that, for example, we have had here on the panel vis-a-vis what comes next?
All right, thank you, Tracy. Thank you, my brother and sister. Before I answer the question, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all my brothers and sisters that are having a good time graduating this whole week, and those even who graduate along the way. Congratulations. It's good to celebrate. It's good to be happy. It's good to achieve something and you'll be happy. I mean, be happy. It's a moment. Sometimes some of us may never get a chance to graduate again. So when you have a chance to graduate, please celebrate. I'm happy for you, and we thank God for whatever you have achieved in this period. Back to the question, Tracy. I think it's good to contextualize this, that as a state, every state evolves. From memory of humanity, education has been evolving. You realize that there was education in whatever form it was 1,000 years ago. And today, education keeps evolving. But the reality of that is that countries develop at a different level. Most importantly, countries like Uganda that belong to, which is just graduating from low, an LODC country, a low development country, you realize that education also evolves like any other sector. We never knew AI, today we know AI. And Uganda is struggling to embrace that. So by the fact that Uganda as a country is just graduating from all the past challenges it has gone through, it is also good to acknowledge that some of us who have gone through the systems, I believe that it has been good enough for that time. Yes, we may have challenges that most of the people are not getting jobs, but look, all over in the world, this country, even if the government does harm, it only gives not more than 500,000 jobs to the graduates. And every single year, universities all over, the 54 universities in this country, they send around 200,000 graduates every single year. Meaning that if you have 200 graduates every single year, the government, this government of ours, it only gives around 19,000 jobs every single financial year. So you see the lapse in that. You have 200,000 graduates entering the job market, and you have 19,000 jobs available for those professions. But we thank God. I went to a business school. I started a business. Where I went, they don't teach you to look for a job. They teach you to make jobs and transform a community. Education must enable you to transform a society. It's not about you yourself. It's not about you, my sister. If you're a veterinary doctor, how are you using it to create jobs and enable other people? So I think that also, because of the reality that government cannot give so many jobs to graduates, it is the reason why, I mean, the NDC sat and said, how can we change the curriculum to competence-based? That a kid grows up understanding how to create jobs, because they realize that there is no country in the world that government is the best employer. It's not there. So meaning that you have to educate this person to the extent of them understanding that I must go to school, study, but use that knowledge to transform my community. So the competence-based is something we must be proud of. That now I have siblings that they challenge me. They are thinking very fast. If you tell me that in a world of innovations, and the schools are saying, let's have kids with phones, but limit how they use them. But let's have, so that they can do research. Then the students, for example, our friend, neighbor here, Kenya, they give tablets to primary 2 kids, pupils. They give them tablets because they think they must understand this technology. From day one, they should not get to know the things at a high age. So I honestly think that the competence-based is something we should all embrace, but I advocate for more reforms in the education sector. I belong to the National Resistance Movement, and when you look at the manifesto that the party laid down in this new mandate they have given us as a party, it is very clear that there are a number of reforms coming in terms of education. For example, there is going to be a lot of funding into technical schools. Why? I am very aware that so many dropouts still happen from senior 4, P7. So there must be a lot of funding to ensure that even those that have not been able to go to university that we are celebrating now, they have something, a skill to be proud of. So my sister, I think, and our viewers can test this, that we are developing as a country, we are progressing as a country, the education is evolving, and it's good that now we are heading to competence-based. We think it will involve much better and much more, so that it can give skills that by the time you graduate, I have seen a school I was proud of recently, a school somewhere, I don't want to mention it, but it was saying that when you bring your child for us in A-level, we are also not only going to give them the A-level certificate, but they are going to live with a driving permit. That we're going to train them how to drive. And by the time they finish 2 years, meaning that if someone fails to go to university, can use a driving permit to get a driving job. They got from school. So these are things that now we must involve. We must advocate for that. Schools, apart from just giving the competence based, what else are adding on to spice that skill? So I think we are in the right direction. We can just advocate for more and push government to put more investment in the education. I mean, because that's the only thing they can offer to this young population of Uganda. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that amazing addition. Please remember to follow us on our YouTube at U24 Television. Also, make use of the WhatsApp number that is on the screen to share in your comments, which we shall be able to read as time goes on. Let me get to Hafashimana. You told us that you are able to do school practice at Kololo. The aspect and rigidity of I studied to be a lawyer, I must be in a law firm, I must be in a court. What made you change the mindset from saying now, perhaps maybe education, yes, I'm a teacher, but I don't think I can do well in this sector. But also briefly comment on the aspect of how young people have a mindset on the white-collar jobs vis-a-vis the blue-collar jobs.
Thank you. Modulator, that's how they follow you in English. I think I will be factual by giving a few references, and I want to go a little bit in the last 8 years. In the last 8 years, I met Nimrod Kakai. And I met him when he was the, I think, head prefect of Nakasongola SS. And a school where I went to in my area, it is also in Nakasongola, the Cornerstone Leadership Academy, the boys' school. He used to walk from Nakasongola SS to our school to simply mix with us, but also us to mix with him. And in a long run, we were able to share different experiences on how they used to do their stuff, of course, leadership-wise in their school. And today, he's definitely a product of what he went through in the last 8 years.
Very true.
In my work of senior 4, I'm now approaching the idea or the question of white-collar jobs, what you studied, should you do it, and not until you get a job and all of that. In work of senior 4, I went to Muhabura Shahid, SS in Chisoro. I remember being a porter on a construction site, and I used to be paid. And in the work of senior 6, I also became a porter, but I had my senior 6, I was waiting for my results. In fact, one of the construction sites I went to earn money is at Kororo, in Kororo here, along that Babiha Road, as you go to Acacia. But also, part of my vacation, I remember buying merchandise and selling merchandise here in Kampala. So I was hawking. So the ones they are chasing today, I was once part of them. And I used to earn something small. But at the end of the day, it would make me survive. But I also remember part of my vacation in Senior 4, I was riding boda boda in Chisoro as my part-time hustle. And I used to earn something. But also even here in Kampala, I have gotten chances to use my personal means of transport to carry someone to be paid. At the end of the day, when I'm saving, I can be able to meet my house rent. So I have done those mentioned things as Senior 4, River, or vacist, Senior 6 vacist, but also as a degree holder. And I can assure people who are watching us that whenever you are giving somebody 200K or 1 million, they are likely not to ask you how did you get it. They will just get it, sign for it, and it is money. So for as long as you can get money in any decent manner, depending on what you're doing, as long as you're not killing somebody for money, as long as you're not doing dubious activities because you want to get money, but for as long as something is decent, it's done by the majority, Ugandans, do it and that money. So the issue of I must be seated, I have gotten chances to sit in some offices by the way, and I think Nimrod and my good friend who has been at the National Youth Council as the vice chairperson of NYC, you already have been into some institutions where you can sit in offices and work, but sometimes the jobs are not worth us to do them because money that you are getting from there is not enough. As a younger man who want to grow productively, you cannot be at a job and you are getting what you don't expect it. At the end of the day, you must pay house rent in Kampala. Now, for those who are afar, definitely whoever is doing whatever, it's because they are getting something out of it. So now, how I should have shifted from practical teaching in class to practically teaching the world, it is because I was not meeting my interests in that field. But I also went ahead as a graduate now from Chabugu University, who is a teacher, to go ahead to involve myself into doing personal things that I am now a boss of myself. Other than being asked by the bosses, how did you deliver? How much did you deliver? I can also ask myself how much I delivered as a person. So the things of saying that I should be able to be in a field where I studied and qualified to be is really not a very urgent thing, especially in the current generation why we said it is a VUCA world. And I think, as I submit on the same context, I want to believe that today's graduates, most of them are not doing what they actually studied. And I want to encourage them that they are not on the wrong side, because at the end of the day, we are looking at how do you take back a matoka to home? How do you pay school fees? If you are upgrading, how do you pay for yourself? And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter the cost you did. Now that's how we are here to address some of those predicaments that are associated with our education system. That whereas I was doing economics, there was an issue of inappropriate system or curriculum in our education system. And when you go to countries like I think in America or Japan, those are some of those countries that have better education systems. That for you, if you want to become an engineer from the age of 5, they ask you to be trained in that field. If you want to be a mechanic, if you want to be anything, you begin from that. So by the end of the day, that's why you are seeing footballers, they are earning a lot of money. Because somebody is born, they tell them, what do you want to be? I want to become a footballer. So at the end of the day, you know, footballer is one of the highest earning people in the whole world. Interesting.
Let me cut it short right then, get to Nancha. Nancha, when we talk about embracing alternatives, as someone who graduated from Makerere University, I don't know how many years ago, but also who is now doing another course, but also working, what alternatives do you think, or do you encourage people who are graduating, people who graduated to take in a way that they could be a bit easier for them to work along while they earn something? Maybe from your experience, those alternatives.
Wow, thank you, Tracy. I graduated in 2021, May 22nd, May 2021. One of the happiest days of my life, I can tell you.
You are the COVID
But then we are the
graduates.
COVID people on screen at home. Very boring. After spending 5 years at COVAB, then you just simply reading your name. But anyway, let's wait for that Freedom Square feeling soon. To answer your question, now after having your degree, it is high time you followed your passion. You know, I have a feeling, or I think young people should be simply open-minded. what have you always wanted in your life? Have you always wanted to sell anything, you know? If you've always wanted to sell anything, please feel free about it. Like, don't feel bad that I have my first class degree, now I'm going to go downtown, now I'm going to go to Chikubo in that traffic jam, in that Kavuyo, to start selling whatever, you know. Because at the end of the day, what we need is, can we survive? Can we pay our bills? Can we save something for the future? Can we start up anything, you know? Today we have very many young people who are computer, what is it called?
Wizards?
Yes, you know, they know a lot, they use a lot of technology. Create something. Think about something. Why are you sleeping? Please wake up and, you know, you think about what you can do. What app can you know, create? How can you innovative in whatever thing you're passionate about, you know? If you're passionate about livestock and agriculture, can you try some poultry? People are earning a lot of money. You're calling it dirty, but people are earning a lot of money that you're actually not seeing. At the end of the day, they are taking care of their families, they are paying their bills, you know. Do a lot of agriculture if you can. Please don't feel bad about it. Do a lot of piggery, you know. I want to major in agriculture because it is what I know. I've seen very many young people coming out to do a very good tailoring. They have very good fashion, you know. They are trying to dress up people. All these people that are on the streets need to dress up. Can you go to China to bring in baby things? Can you bring in men stuff? You said our men here are really smart. Can you bring in ladies stuff? As in, do anything that you feel like you can do. Can you be a good hairdresser? Can you do the nails well? Please don't feel bad about it, because at the end of the day, all we need is to see you living, is to see you earning something, is to see you being able to provide for your families, it is to see you being able to pay your bills. I want to applaud government that there is a program of training young people in the industrial hubs. Yeah, that is a very good program. Young people are learning baking, they're learning carpentry, you know, they're learning tailoring, they're learning hairdressing, among others. And every single year, another intake, you know, comes in. And to the young people that get that opportunity, please take it that seriously. Ensure that you learn something. Because at the end of the day, once you take that seriously, you can earn something at the end of the day. You can be able to earn something to support you and your family at large. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Okay, let me get to some comments right here on WhatsApp. We do have Enoch Abeneitwe, and Enoch Abeneitwe says that some of the gaps are that the education system is too theoretical and less practical. He says that many graduates leave school with strong theory but limited hands-on, and employers often say graduates need training. This sounds funny but true, that you spend almost 20 years in the education cycle but still need to be trained or oriented on the job. And then he also says that weak link to the job market. This is where the biggest gap is found. And he says that there is a mismatch between what schools teach and what the labor market actually does demand. There are very few structured internship systems. There are very limited industry academia collaboration, and also little exposure to the entrepreneurship world. Thank you so much for that amazing addition and contribution. Let me get back to you, Nimrod. Our time is really fast spent, but maybe if I could pick your comments in regards to what address systems do you think the government needs to put into consideration to restructure, especially that we might not talk about the 2 years behind, but for those that are already in the system, for those that are already having the degrees, for those that are already on the job market but without the jobs, what do you think needs to be aligned for young people? Is it the role of the government or even young people themselves to be able to make it easier for them?
Thank you. When this government came in power, the literacy rate was around 30%.
Correct.
Today, we look at the literacy rate of around 80%. Simply meaning that out of 100 Ugandans, 8 of them can read and write. But also it's most important that at the time, also when this government came, we're having expatriates, that we didn't have enough capital of human beings or workforce to work with the available jobs, that we could hire people from other countries to come and manage things here. Let me give a practical example. By then, 90% of hotels were managed by Kenyans. Yes, even today, there are some who are still managed by Kenyans. It's not a bad thing, but that shows you how big the gap was. That as we look at what government can do to address the gap, first of all, the first gap was let everyone have basic education. Let everyone go to school for free. UP is there, UZ is there, and UPLOT is there. Now after that, having a force, now they have introduced competence-based, which directly address the problem of the link between what you study and what is needed in job market. True, we have a problem that many graduates are not employable. That you have a Nimrod Kakai who has graduated as a mechanical engineer, but I cannot go and even operate a small workshop, just because what I have was theoretical and what's on ground is different. Like I said, every country has a process of growth. And now that government has learned that, and it is obviously out there, the competence-based is in. But there's also another way of us doing that. One, there are so many things that are going on in this country that I think some don't have this knowledge about. One is that the government needs to strengthen the information system. How do we get information to the people? And that can be done through empowering the structures we have. Every society has leaders. And for example, we have the youth leaders. We have the National Youth Council, like where my brother here is. We have the Youth League. We have every political party has youth leaders, who I think they're very crucial in disseminating information from high level to lower. For example, right now, the industrial hubs are recruiting up to 31st March. How many people are aware in their districts that actually you just need to go to your LC1, go to your LC3, and go to your RDC, they certify you, and you go and study for free for a practical course for 6 months. Everything catered for. So I think these things are there. We just need to ensure that information is out there. Secondly, there is introduction of ICT hubs. Let me give you an example. Here in Akawa, there is an ICT hub that if you want to go and research and do anything and understand anything, you're free to walk in. As a young person who have gone to school maybe 3 years ago, that you graduated with theories, and you want to understand a little bit on other things, you go there. So I think the introduction of innovation hubs all over. I saw recently in Butaleja launching a fully innovation hub there to help students who have gone and those who will go. So I think those are things the government are doing. But away from government, back to us as individuals. Ask yourself now, are you studying that course because you chose it or because your parents want you to be what they want you to be? Because when you have passion for something, it is quick and easy for you to do more research and understand. Secondly, we are now in a global village.
Yes.
Take advantage of internet to understand why if you want to go and become a veterinary doctor, for example, you want to become a teacher or business person, ask yourself, what problem are you going to solve that exists? Because if you're going to study a course, you must know that it must solve a problem in a society. Now, what are you going to solve? If you want to be a journalist, what's the problem? Do we need journalists anymore, or we have enough? What are you going to solve when you're a journalist? So I think that young people, it's high time that we just not only think about government, but it's good that you take the onus upon yourself to say, before I go and enroll for this, I think that I need to understand that I'll make a contribution. That's why those who have done that, it is very easy for them to go and get jobs, because they have understood why they're doing that course. They are answering questions of problems of society, and they can be able to create jobs, but also even be employable in established entities. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you so much for that. We do still have some comments coming in, and this one states that due to generational shifts, the actual youth realities today include digital economy, AI and automation, freelancing skills, and also agribusiness modernization, since we are in an agriculture-based economy, but also does highlight on the effect or impact of climate-smart solutions. Very many young people today do advocate for various spaces in terms of where they can be actually included. But maybe as we get to the conclusion, Kakai, I wanted you to just, if you can do in less than a minute.
Yes.
As a member of the National Youth League,
Yes.
and which is the ruling party that has been in power for close to 40 years now.
Yes.
What reforms do you think should deliberately be taken by government,
yes,
to ensure that education system does align with at least a bigger percentage of young people?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. I think one that I am very passionate about is career guidance. Primary schools in government, they don't have career guidance masters. Yes, every teacher can do career guidance, but we need specialists. People who go and understand pupils and say, because of this, I think you can do this. Career guidance is very important, that it will align someone from childhood as they grow up. For example, I'm doing masters, but maybe if I knew earlier, I wouldn't be doing what I did before. By the time I opened my eyes and ears and my inner soul to understand better, I was at a high level. So I think the government that I support, we must now think about employing career guidance masters in every single primary school in this country. That would be two. We must ensure that we keep people in school.
How do you juxtapose the career guidance masters vis-a-vis parent interest?
Oh yeah, that's a very interesting scenario. You see the mindset problem we have. I come from Namisindwa, it's a rural district. Parents there, they think that there are major careers they think if and who should have. You must be an engineer, you must either be a lawyer, you know, you must be a doctor, a teacher. Very known that that's when you have gone to school, yeah? But because parents have one challenge, where we come from, most of our parents didn't attain their dreams through education. So they think that their children should carry exactly their desires to achieve on their behalf. So a child that has been guided, and if there's a problem, they can invite the parents that, look, you want this daughter, Tresley, to be a doctor, but according to our understanding, the time I've spent with her, she can make a very good ICT engineer. So let's give her a chance in that line. You get?
Yes.
So I think it's not hard, as long as we can call on parents. I mean, every school has a PTA, meetings, what. They can have conversations there and tell the parents to be open-minded and allow the children to pursue what they are good at or what they can do better. So that's it. But as I conclude, I think government is trying, but most importantly, I advocate that we spend more money and on mindset change to ensure that the country understands that it's good to go to a technical school. I have been to Nakasongola. There is a technical school, well established, good facilities, but the enrollment is less than 500 students. The problem, the mindset change. So I think the government also need to invest a lot in mindset that parents should allow those who can to go. You don't need to go to those schools, to technical schools, because you have failed to go to A level. I think it's good that anyone should go there and get a skill, not those who have not been able to make it.
Let me, if you can also, if you can make the addition and with your parting shots in less than 2 minutes, Nansha.
Okay, briefly, I wanted to, what my brother Nimrod has said is really true, but we are very many young people. Government cannot entirely cater for us, you know. Yes, you can have the career masters in primary schools, but what are you doing as a parent, really? That is your fundamental role. Look at your child. See what they are doing best, you know. Try to guide them according to what you're seeing they are doing best. Right from childhood, you can identify a child who likes football, I could say. I want to give an example of Fresh Kid. The dad identified that my kid can sing. The kid started right away. The kid has developed, he has started because we got to know him through his talent, you know. So I call upon parents. Those are your kids, they are your children, you brought them to this world. They should be your fundamental role. It is your fundamental role to find out what your child likes, what your child wants to be, and then you guide them accordingly, you know. Because at the end of the day, we cannot blame government for whatever is happening. We are also part of government because we are also people in the country, and it is our mandate to see that whatever is happening in our country, there is a solution that we are having as Ugandans, for starters. So let us look at our children right from childhood, get to know which talent do they have. Can they sing? Can they dance? Are they good at art? Are they good at football? You know, do they like tailoring? What do they like? You help them, groom them according to what you have seen, and at the end of the day, they will become very good citizens. And two, if you're working somewhere as a parent, do not leave your kids at home all the time. You know, that is why you're saying people die, and at the end of the day, their businesses are dying out with them. Because when they had to bring their kids to learn what is being done at the workplace, they didn't do that. So if you have your small job, do you have your shop? Do you have your what? Your tailoring hub? You know, your fashion hub? Carry your kids once in a while. Let them know where you're getting the milk from. Let them learn. That can also help out in continuity of the what? Of the job. Of that kind of job.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Nacha, for that. And I think you remind me of something, that sometimes parents are driven away by the society pressure, that so-and-so's daughter is a lawyer, so-and-so's daughter is an engineer, so-and-so's son has done this and this and been successful. And so they think that they can force their children down that road to actually pursue or take the same goal as what their neighbors did or what so-and-so's son does. So parents, even you, please, societal pressure should not take the role that you have, especially in appreciating what best this child can be able to perform. Hafashimana, in less than 2 minutes or even 1 minute, your parting shots.
I don't know why she gave it a smile when you requested me to give my parting shots.
In 2 minutes.
But I will definitely be very brief.
Yes.
Very short as a mini skirt, but very enough to cover the essentials. And I will quote the former president of think Malawi, that if you want to harvest quality honey, you must be ready to be stung by bees. That means that for the education system that we have now, that we are actively participating in now, we must be ready to allow it to give quality products out of the same education design. But I also think that when you look at the National Youth Council, 80% of them are products of the old curriculum.
Yes.
That means if we have the new curriculum on board, it doesn't favor them. Therefore, if it is to address the predicament of unemployment, they are not catered in that curriculum design. That means the government must rise up in designing something that could cater for them, not just the presidential skilling hubs, because also I'm sure they have a limit of the numbers they take.
Yeah, true.
And I think apparently I want to speak on behalf of the government that there is a circular from the State House Controller that is encouraging younger people to look for their zonal chairpersons to be admitted in the presidential skilling hubs in all the regions in the country. So it is incumbent upon me and them to definitely rise up, but also take up such opportunity. And as I conclude, I want to believe that President Museveni has always urged Ugandans to participate, but also actively indulge themselves into agriculture. Severally, he has given examples of people that have picked up his message in his campaign rallies. He was demonstrating, giving examples. He has been giving examples of old people in Karamoja, old people in Fort Poto, and many others. But I want to believe that whereas he has encouraged us to do the same, I think it's high time we also get started, so that by the next 5 years, we are also being used as examples. And as I wind up, I want to ask every Ugandan outside, especially the younger people, to inculcate into savings. If they make little money, if you make 20K, don't think of spending. Think of how do you save it so that you can multiply it to be able to make an investment out of that money. And that asks the question, or it responds to the question of us saving as the National Youth Council, or as youth leaders, or as young people in the country. It could be a societal saving, it could be a personal saving, but at the end of the day, we must be able to keep some money so that we can use it to buy or invest other things, and we shall be rich. Asantini sana.
Thank you so much, Hafashimana. And of course, just 3 comments from YouTube. We do have Jacob Mulisa, who says, I'm following here. Thank you so much, Jacob, for following us. We do have Mugisa Mashud, who says, greetings from the young people of Fort Portal Tourism City. We do have Mandu Clevers, who says, greetings to you, comrades, more especially my chairperson, Kakai Nimrod. The youth must shine, be blessed. We do have Wakoko Colin, who says, our system is really not good. It would be better for a child to begin with the skill she feels is good and perfects it, rather than studying everything when not utilize it in the end. And this is Collins from Manafwa. Thank you so much, all of you, for following us. We've been discussing if the education system in Uganda does actually address the realities of life, especially after graduation, and what people have to go through. I've been having Nimrod Kakai, who is the youth chairperson of Namisindwa NRM District Youth League. I've been having Nancha Esther, who is a youth politician but also a veterinary doctor. I've been having Kafashimana Asimwe, who is the district youth chairperson of Kisoro District and the National Youth Council. And take home is that we should ensure that education system should not just define what we take, but we should be able to open up to what other opportunities that life presents to us. Cheslin Ankwanda right here, Youth of Purpose. See you next time, same place.
Thank you.
Youth of Purpose. Youth of Purpose. Youth of Purpose. Youth of Purpose.
I seem to mess it up almost every time.
Permission to come aboard?
I'm feeling really sick.
My God.
How are you feeling on a scale of 1 to 10?
Can I be less than 1?
There's nothing lower than 1.
There's 0.
Your parents tell me you were born with a unique condition.
I accidentally kill people.
I'm sorry, I don't follow.
When people see me, my face, they...
You accidentally assault people with your face. Let's pretend that what you're projecting is, in fact, real. Why are your parents still alive? I think they must have seen your face.
Well, my mom says she knew something was wrong the day I was born.
One more push.
One more push, honey.
You're so close.
Yes.
It's a boy.
He's the most beautiful baby I've ever seen. We moved out of the city when I was 2 to someplace more secluded. The fewer the people, the less accidents. It was a fresh start, a chance at a normal life. That was wishful thinking. Because I couldn't have felt any more
Desire to dwell in the past. What really brought you here today?
I just want to be normal.
Have you ever considered that your wrappings could simply be your mind's physical manifestation of depression?
Oh my God.
I tried to tell him. Damn it, Max.
Look, we know all these heart attacks ain't his fault, but it just doesn't sit right that every time someone croaks in this town, we get a call and boom, there's your boy.
Yeah, it's strange.
It is weird.
Strange. It just looks bad on the whole force that we keep letting him off with a warning. Folks are dying, and all we can say is, you know, shit happens.
No, we completely understand.
We understand. So, did Dr. Klingeman say anything helpful?
No, Dad. He died.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, our house is a freezer, Dan. The heater's still waiting for Paul to fix it.
I don't mind a little cold, Mrs. Richardson.
Yeah? Well, neither does Paul.
Oh, hello there, Alana Scolvia.